Hello everyone and welcome to the midnight edition of Trek Canon, where today we're going to be discussing justice for Tuvix. Now, there's been a lot of debate in the Trek community about this particular episode, which is Season 2, Episode 24, Star Trek Voyager. First of all, I love an episode that invokes a good, healthy debate between individuals. And most of the debate revolves simply around the ethical and moral dilemma that Captain Janeway faced in this episode when dealing with Tuvix. But I figured I would examine this in a different perspective, other than most of the perspectives that most people have actually did their videos on when it comes to this particular subject. And y'all know that's how I roll. So I wanted to look at this episode from the perspective of Captain Janeway, the captain of USS Voyager, and see if we could determine why she ended up making the decision she ended up making. I'll go into all of that and kind of figure out, was Captain Janeway justified, or the Dread Pirate Janeway, was she justified in her actions with Tuvix? So as I was talking about before, a lot of the concern and debate around this subject is justice for Tuvix. But before we begin, let's talk about exactly what justice is defined as in Star Trek canon. Now, I'm not a lawyer when it comes to current Earth law or anything like that, but I'm kind of an expert when it comes to Star Trek canon law. Now, in Star Trek canon, there are three types of justice, all right? There is lawful justice, there's ethical justice, and there is moral justice. Legal, of course, being whatever it is that was written into law, but may not necessarily be ethical or moral. Moral being something that people follow that may not necessarily fall into the, something ethical or legal. And, of course, the same thing when it comes to moral law. But the thing is, we know that there is a law system in Star Trek canon because of episodes like Measure of a Man, Drumhead, Court Martial. We know that there is a JAG, a Judge Advocate General, in Star Trek canon. If there's a Judge Advocate General, then Starfleet has a version of what's called the Uniform Code of Military Justice. In this case, in Star Trek canon, this is called the Uniform Code of Justice. They use this particular set of rules and what's called directives to establish what the job of a starship captain entails and how they should perform it. So then, what is the primary responsibility of a starship captain? Works with the XO to figure out best ways and operations, man support, power and allocations and all that kind of stuff. But it basically boils down to what Admiral Nechayev told Captain Picard once, that the primary responsibility of a starship captain is to safeguard the life of Federation citizens. Everything that I just mentioned can be boiled down to how they accomplish that particular role. Now, I would also go so far as to say that not only do they safeguard the lives of Federation citizens, they safeguard the property of the Federation as well, because they come to the aid of Federation starships, colonies, outposts, bases, things like that. You steal one of these shuttles, that's illegal in the Federation. So not only is the captain responsible for safeguarding the lives of Federation citizens, but its property and worlds as well. Now, as I mentioned, Tuvix is a episode from the second season. Now, if you think about it, what was going on in the second season when it comes to Voyager, right? They was under almost constant attack. They had to deal with the the Marquis, a possible Marquis mutiny and everything like that. They had to figure out if there was who was the mole on the ship giving out all the information to the Kazon. They had to deal with the Kazon. They didn't know where food was going to come from, all of this kind of stuff, right? So this was the scenario. They was in a whole area of space that they had no idea, no support from the Federation. Most of the Starfleet crew had died being transported over there. So the situation that Janeway was dealing with was a kind of a dire one, and she pretty much needed all of the personnel that she had left that was Starfleet in their positions and serving the roles that they were serving. So then let's talk about the character of Tuvix. Tuvix is a hybrid transporter accident, basically, that is 1/2 Vulcan, 7/16 Talaxian, and 1/8 Malar. The half Vulcan side comes from the chief of security, chief of tactical, the tactical station officer in Vulcan, Tuvok, and the Other portions of them come from Neelix, the Talaxian that they found in the Delta Quadrant. Neelix, although being part of the crew in season 2, wasn't a member of Starfleet or the Federation. However, Tuvok, being one of the founding members of the Federation species, being Vulcan, and a member of Starfleet, was very much a Federation citizen. Neelix had no family, but he was at the time in a very good relationship with the character Kes. Tuvok, however, was married to a woman named T'Pel, and he had 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter. I believe one of the sons was named Sek, and the daughter was named Asil, if I remember correctly. Now, as I was saying, due to a transporter accident, Tuvok and Neelix were blended into Tuvok. Now, the thing is that as we go on in the episode, we are under the impression that this resulted in the death of both Tuvok and Neelix. This is very important because as a result, you have to fall under the prime directive, which is new life. We treat it, which is sentient. We treat it as such. It's awarded all of the customs and courtesies and all of that as a sentient life form that's newly discovered. In other words, Tuvix was granted his individuality and was even allowed to take up some of his roles as being cook, ambassador, morale officer, and tactical officer, even though some of those jobs he did better than others. Now, the issue arises, however, when it is found that through the use of a plant and using that plant transported with Tuvix, they can restore the lives of both Tuvok and Neelix. So then now the question arises on the captain. Now there's a weight on her shoulders as to what should she do. If she goes through with restoring Tuvok and Neelix, this would basically end the life of the new life form that they've discovered as a result of the accident, which is Tuvix. And Tuvix very much does not want to end his life. As we go on in the episode, we also find out that the doctor is wants to be an unwilling participant in this due to his ethics and morality under do no harm. But see, what is the responsibility of the captain of a starship in Star Trek? They are to safeguard the lives of Federation citizens and property, right? This is no longer an issue of two officers or 2 individuals dying and a new life form existing, and that's just the end of it. This is a situation where there was an accident, a new life form was created as the result of that accident, where we could correct that accident, restoring my tactical officer and another life form. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people fail to realize that bringing Tuvok back would not only restore a tactical officer and the second in command of the USS Voyager, but it would also restore a husband and a father of 3 children. On the flip side of that, restoring Neelix would restore the love of season 2's life for Kes. Frankly speaking, Tuvix didn't really exist on the ship long enough for people to form that much of a bond with him. A lot of them still seen him as an accident that happened as a result of this transporter accident, and that they still lost 2 individuals that were prize members of the crew. And basically, you have just taken 2 valuable members of the crew, condensed them into 1 member of the crew who can't do either job as well as the individual members of did in the first place. So legally, under Federation law, as Tuvok was a Federation citizen, right? Not only just a Federation citizen, one of the founding member races of the Federation, right? Captain Janeway was duty bound to do everything she could to save the life and preserve the life of Tuvok. Also, Captain Janeway's directives of safeguarding new life forms and new set of civilizations and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they had met that with Neelix. They have the opportunity to restore Neelix back to not only the way he was, but to the love of his life, Kes. So I believe that because of this, Captain Janeway was justified not only legally but morally and ethically to restore Tuvok and Neelix back to the way they were supposed to be and by extension ending the life of Tuvix. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this examination of Tuvix. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and as always, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and as always, peace, recycle, and say the whales. You guys be cool.